5:30 a.m. Tuesday morning in Cyprus. Many people didn't answer, some out of fright, but one woman did. The Precinct 5 Constable's office says the twin 16-year-olds escaped their home in the Marvita neighborhood, where they had been held prisoner in handcuffs in their laundry room. No shoes, one not wearing a shirt. It was cold outside. They were desperate. This woman, who wants to remain anonymous for safety reasons, invited them in.
They were saying that they had just gotten here from Baton Rouge, I think they said, that they just moved here and that their mom didn't disclose the address to them, and so they didn't know where they lived.
She gave them blankets and food, which she says they ate every bit of. They told her they hadn't eaten in more than a week. The woman called police. In the meantime, she says the children opened up about the abuse they had endured at the hand of their mother, Zakiya Duncan, and her boyfriend, Jova Terrell, even telling her they had tried to escape the night before.
But she got caught, and her mom beat her, hit her in the head.
The woman, who's an ICU nurse, checked out their injuries and took these photos. Swollen hands, fresh cuts to their wrists and arms. She noticed scarring on their frail bodies as well. You'll notice the handcuffs sitting on the counter.
They complain about feeling stiff from being in just one position in the laundry room.
The woman is still trying to process everything. Duncan and her boyfriend both charged with injury to a child. The woman who helped save them is angry that it got to this extreme and that Duncan had custody of her children. Texas CPS said they had not been involved with the family before, but in Louisiana, where they had just moved from, the Department of Child and Family Services, according to court records, had been, even documenting past abuse.
Give these abusers life in prison, like murderers, because that's ultimately what it's going to lead to. And I bet crime would go down. Kids would not be abused because people would be afraid to go to prison for life.
Early voting in Victoria County starts Monday. The Patty Dodson Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A, will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for early voting. Early voting ends Friday, November 4th, and the last day to apply for a ballot by mail is Friday, October 28th. Temperaments flared at the most recent Goliad County Commissioners Court meeting. At the meeting, a subpoena drafted by Assistant District Attorney Jim Pointner and signed by Goliad County Judge Mike Bennett was delivered to Goliad County Clerk and District Clerk Mary Ellen Flores' office, which demanded Flores to produce information about several bank accounts that existed outside of the county's depository bank without the knowledge of the Goliad County Treasurer Brian Howard. Tensions were high during the Uvalde School Board meeting Wednesday night. The school district approved the retirement of Superintendent Hal Harrell.
Yeah, you're still on donations, and that's not part of the agenda.
Well, yeah, but it's just a comment, so I'm not going to take that much time. So, first of all, I would just like to say, whoever... Sorry to interrupt you, but I need to advise the board and the board president.
Yes, sir.
Interruptions of public comment Wednesday night by a woman who appears to be UCISD's legal counsel.
And finally, J.Z. Swider, we've been waiting for you to resign. You lied to us. You lied to the board.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. President.
Leading to heated outcries from families of victims and their supporters wanting to be heard.
If the board's not able to continue with its public comment, you can recess or advise.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I signed up for safety, and that's a disgrace. That safety is not on the agenda, and it never has been.
As the board went to closed sessions, emotions stayed high among families and those who appeared to be in support of the district.
It didn't happen to you. This was my granddaughter.
It happened to the school committee.
A downtown Victoria construction zone is set for early next week. On Monday, October 24th, Constitution Street will be reduced to westbound only traffic between Main Street and Bridge Street from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All businesses in the construction zones will remain open and accessible. Texas Parks and Wildlife is hosting a meeting tonight in Port Lavaca. They're seeking public input on proposed regulation changes to oyster harvesting in certain reef areas. Those areas are Carl's Bay, Mesquite Bay, and Ayers Bay. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick is live in Port Lavaca with more. Adarius.
I am at the Bauer Exhibit Building in Port Lavaca, where Parks and Wildlife will host their meeting at 6 o'clock. The proposals for the meeting include the permanent ban of oysters harvesting in Carlos Bay, Mesquite Bay, and Ayers Bay, and a temporary ban in San Antonio Bay. Texas Parks and Wildlife has said oysters are unique and they serve an important economic and ecological role. Their goal is to find balance between these roles by protecting protecting ecosystems, at the same time allowing for sustainable fisheries for coastal communities to thrive. Many people along the coast of the Crossroads depend on these oysters for their livelihoods. Reporting live in Port Lavaca, I'm Darius McCormick, KAVU 25 News Now.
Darius, thank you. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. How do you feel about the permanent ban of oyster harvesting in some area bays? For or against? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. Don Brubaker and I will have what you and your neighbors are saying on 25 News Now at 6. The intersection of Victoria Street and Murray Street in Victoria is closed so that utilities may be installed. Traffic will be unable to turn from Victoria Street onto Murray Street or vice versa. During this time, Victoria Street will be closed through traffic at the intersection. Motorists should exercise caution and obey all signs and barricades posted in the work zone. The construction is part of the pump station drainage project. Now let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Howie Gordon. Howie, how's it looking over there?
Well, we started off on the chilly side this morning. Yesterday morning, Karina, we had record low temperatures dropping down to 42 degrees. Different story now. The sun is out in full force, warming up our atmosphere. Look at this in the 80s, 82 in Cuero, 83 for Victoria on the coast, mid to upper 70s, right around that 80-degree mark. A little breezy in some spots today. A few 20-mile-per-hour gusts. Other than that, winds on the lighter side, 5 to 10 miles per hour. So tonight, warmer, will be in the 60s. Overnight, not dropping back down to the 40s. We stay in the mid-50s. We'll see some warm weather as the week moves along. Plus, maybe some rain chances. We'll talk all about it, Karina.
Howie, thank you. A Massachusetts woman is accused of attacking authorities with a swarm of bees. Rory Woods drove to an eviction site earlier this month and opened the bee hives she was transporting. The bees swarmed around the officers and others in the area. Numerous people and officers were stung. The 55-year-old used the bees in an effort to stop the eviction process. She was taken into custody and faces multiple charges, including assault and battery by means of dangerous weapon and disorderly conduct. A new report says major improvements are needed regarding foster children in Alabama. The results from the Justice Department show institutionalized foster kids are frequently placed in inferior and segregated schools, violating their right for a proper education.
26-year-old Sydney Smith was one of those foster children. She lived in institutions for about 8 years. She says she was sent there rather than a foster home because she acted out and had some issues with self-harm.
Once you're in, you don't get out. Nobody wants a teenager who has behavioral issues enough to where they need to go to a facility like that.
Her goal was to someday go to college, but she calls the education she was receiving in those facilities a joke.
We'd rotate classrooms, but you'd walk in, they'd give you a word search puzzle. In English class, we went over punctuation for my 10th grade year, my 11th grade year, and my senior year. Like the same thing over and over, the exact same papers, the same word searches, they were just rotating them out. There was nothing educational about it.
They're not receiving any education right now. It's pitiful.
Tommy James is representing almost a dozen foster children in separate lawsuits. He says the DOJ findings are not surprising at all.
These children need the opportunities that other children have. They've got behavioral and emotional disabilities. It doesn't mean they can't go to public school.
I just feel like there's a lot of things that could be done to change the system. It's not hard to give foster kids a good education. They've been through enough. I don't understand why this is even having to be discussed or brought up, but I'm glad that it is.
Here's a look at some of the top stories you'll find in the Cuero Record. A fatal wreck happened Sunday outside of Yorktown. Cuero High School's homecoming king and queen are announced, and a special new exhibit at the Yorktown Historical Museum is now open. Read more at DeWittCountyToday.com. And stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. All charges against a 36-year-old man partially paralyzed while in police custody are dropped. Also ahead, the UK's Prime Minister Liz Truss resigns 45 days into her term.
Planning a special event or family time? Call Ventura's Tamales and let us do the cooking. Ventura's offers catering and carry-out service just for you. Our menu is sure to fit all your catering needs, such as our signature tamales, famous quesadilla rolls, street tacos, and our side dishes to complement your meal. Don't forget the Ventura's chips. View our catering menu at venturastamales.com or call us at 361-578-5161. Ventura's Tamales, located at 3907 North Navarro Street in Victoria. Unwrap the flavor.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, a principled conservative fighting for Texas. Recognized as a leader on border security and being tough on crime, he's supported by law enforcement statewide. He's increased education funding at record levels with the biggest teacher pay raise in years.
I'm Dan Patrick. Texas is the greatest place to live, work, and raise a family. Join me in fighting radical liberals who would turn Texas into California. I ask for your vote.
It's a full house with John Stamos and Sophia Mitri-Schloss. Have you even seen any of John Stamos' shows?
I didn't watch any of the things that...
Can I get a new daughter for the show?
Come out and support our veterans at the Veterans Day Parade on November 11th starting at 10 a.m. in downtown Victoria. Participants in the parade have until October 31st to submit their entry forms. Show your appreciation for all our veterans at the Veterans Day Parade on November 11th.
Victory Kia has been awarded Kia's Dealer of Excellence Award for the second year in a row.
We were recognized for outstanding sales satisfaction and also for a superior service experience.
Hey, better employees give better service.
Plus, we give all veterans, first responders, and medical professionals 10% off their service bills.
We service all imports and honor all extended warranties.
With award-winning service and lower prices, we think you too will say,
I love victory!
All charges are dropped against 36-year-old Randy Cox. He was paralyzed from an incident in a New Haven police van. Cox was arrested in June on suspicion of illegally possessing a handgun and additional charges. He was handcuffed and placed in the back of the van, not equipped with seatbelts. The van came to an immediate stop and he hit the interior wall of the van head first. Cox attorney Benjamin Crump says the New Haven police handled the whole matter wrongly. After 45 days in office, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss resigns. This makes her time in office the shortest of any prime minister in British history. She released a statement saying, quote, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party, citing great economic and international instability.
I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
After meeting with the King, Truss says they agreed a leadership election is expected next week and will remain as Prime Minister until a successor is chosen. A new report from the CDC shows some U.S. minority groups are more likely to be hospitalized for the flu and less likely to be vaccinated. Here's more on the dangers of the flu and what some want to do to break down the barriers to vaccination.
Flu season is here with high levels of the illness already reported in Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and New York City, according to the CDC.
The vaccine, however, can help prevent severe disease, may help prevent the flu in general.
A new report from the CDC shows flu shot uptake since the 2010-2011 season has been consistently lower among Black and Hispanic adults when compared to white adults. People in those groups were more likely to be hospitalized with flu during most seasons studied. According to the data from 2009 to 2022, flu hospitalizations were 80% higher among Black adults, 30% higher for adults who are American Indian or Alaska Native, and 20% higher for Hispanic adults.
We're talking about things like having to be hospitalized because you can't breathe, your shortness of breath is severe, your headaches are out of control, your fever is really, really high to the point that we worry that is going to cause potentially neurological damage.
The CDC says reasons for the disparities include lack of healthcare access and insurance, misinformation and distrust in vaccines, infections and missed opportunities to get vaccinated. Dr. Barbara Bauer with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says more needs to be done to improve access and erase vaccine stigma.
It's educating people on why we give it, educating and showing them potentially data on, how it can improve their chances.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
A new study published today in JAMA Network Open shows emergency department visits for sexual assault were 15 times higher in 2019 than in 2006. There's two possible reasons for the increase. First, a new system for diagnostic codes corresponded to a marked increase in sexual assault diagnosis and greater awareness from additional factors like the Me Too movement. However, the numbers still only represent a fraction of assaults reported to law enforcement.
On the dry and warm side, but then some disturbances move our way and bring us some showers. We'll talk all about it.
Victory Buick GMC has been named the area's friendliest car dealership, and here's why.
Our service department has the lowest labor rates in the Crossroads.
That means better service for less money.
Plus, we give all veterans, first responders, and medical professionals an additional 10% off.
We service all GM vehicles and we honor all extended warranties.
With world-class service and lower prices, we think you too will say,
I love Victory!
Shop naked and save at the Homestead. You can take it home and stain it tonight.
What in tarnation? The Homestead's gone rustic. Mosey on over and check out the store today.
Next Live, Emmy Award winner Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary.
Now it is time to get this party started.
We couldn't agree with you more, Quinta.
Ryan, were you a teacher's pet as a kid?
Nope.
And coming October 31st, it's Live's Multiverse Halloween.
Is it warm in here to you?
No, I'm quite comfortable.
Can someone get me some water?
The 2023 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
If you don't mean it, it's just words. Well, integrity is basically loyalty to be good when no one is watching, so you should do it because you know it's right.
We'll start out there in Port Lavaca. Beautiful, beautiful blue skies. Beautiful day to be on the beach or on the coast, laying out there, having some lunch. Looks fantastic out there. Here's what we did. Look at that. A jump up. Cut last week, 95 all week. Cold front comes in, kept us struggling to get to 70. Yesterday, 75. And here we are right back above average by a couple degrees. Last week, we were about 10 degrees above average. Last couple days, below average now. Pretty much where we're supposed to be. Nothing in the way of any rainfall. Here's our temperatures at about 5:18 at night. So on the coast, mid to upper 70s. You move away from the water, low to mid 80s. So the sunshine warming us up after our first fall plunge or cool down of the season just a couple days ago. Here's our dew points. They're getting up there a little higher, but still not really on the bothersome side at all. In the mid to upper 50s on the coast. You move inland for the most part in the mid to upper 40s. Very, very tolerable. Here's our winds, okay? Last couple days, saw some of our breeziest days in maybe the last month. We were gusting around at 20, 25, 30, 32 miles per hour. For the most part, on the lighter side, few spots on the water, gusting to 20. I'm expecting our winds to stay, for the most part, around these conditions on the lighter side for the most part. So here's what we got. Yeah, just clear skies, high pressure clearing the way. Still got that cool, dry air moving down from the north a little bit, but we're starting to see a reversal of winds out of the south, and that is helping to start to warm us up as well as the sunshine. Now, what's going on? Let's fast forward here. Let's move ahead. What we have going on, we're going to start to have some disturbances pushing in from the west. We could see some showers potentially maybe after the weekend. Yeah, as moisture accumulates, we could see some rain chances, and eventually another boundary is going to head our way as well. Here's our marine forecast. So 74 degrees for the water. That took a plunge. We were 83 degrees yesterday. Seas 2 to 3 feet, bays on the choppy side. Okay, so 60s tonight. Yeah, we were dropping into the 40s and the 50s. So on the warmer side during the day, not as bad at night as well. Overnight, 55. Again, a couple days ago, record low, 42. This morning, we were in the 42, 43, 44 degree range, so not as bad overnight. Then looking ahead to tomorrow, look at that, back in the mid-80s again with lots and lots of sunshine. And looking ahead to the rest of the week in Quera, I pointed out that little disturbance that's headed our way. That could potentially bring some showers after the weekend, and then maybe a little cool down as well as a cold front moves into the area. Here's Port Lavaca on the water, looking at lots of sunshine, but then that disturbance again pushing in could bring us some showers after the weekend. Then right back here in Victoria, we stay in the mid-80s right through the weekend. That disturbance comes in and clouds us up, maybe bringing showers. Then that cold front comes in, look what happens, knocks temperatures down. But you know what? It'll be beautiful with lots and lots of sunshine. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. Now we send it back to Karina.
Howie, thank you. Coming up on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, federal support surpasses $1 billion to help Florida recover from Hurricane Ian.
Texas, now's the time to gear up and save on a new Ford SUV. Get great deals on our most capable lineup, like the spacious and tech-savvy Ford Expedition or Ford Explorer and Bronco Sport, both rated 2022 IIHS top safety picks and both designed to give you greater confidence. Choose in-stock or custom order select Ford SUVs and lock in $3,900 for $60 plus $500 cash plus complimentary maintenance.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Texas Glass and Tinting, your local experts in auto glass replacements, is now offering recalibrations for your windshield replacements to get you back on the road safely. Texas Glass and Tinting has master auto technicians with over 20 years experience offering you prompt and exceptional service, insured, and servicing the Golden Crescent and surrounding areas.
If it's glass, it's Texas Glass. Texas Glass and Tinting.
You fought hard for this career. It's time to save it. Come with me.
I can't.
One of our own is imploding. If you can't lead us through this, Captain, I will.
My friend Joey comes from the land of Down Under, and here at Bravo, we're the home of the Down Under prices! Woo! Make no down payment, no payments for 90 days, and oil changes for life. Hop online or hop on in. Bravo Autos is a hopping place!
Is America too high on marijuana? Whether you like it or not, we're going to look at the science.
We have an industry making money off of saying this is harmless. It's a joke.
It's not a joke. You can't walk into a dispensary at 12 years old and buy marijuana.
Cannabis has not been shown to cause a fatal overdose. Cannabis use does cause suicidal thinking, and sadly, suicide in my son.
New Dr. Phil.
It's a parent's worst nightmare. My son Diego was murdered. The county released the gunman on bond. He violated it 37 times, then shot another person. Why did the county even let my son's murderer out of jail? Beto O'Rourke favors easy bail. Just release criminals back on the streets. That's the same policy that let my son's killer run free. If Beto O'Rourke is elected governor, there'll be more violence and more victims.
Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 100 points and the S&P down 30 points and the NASDAQ down 66 points. Oil up 43 cents, closing at $85.98 a barrel. More than $1 billion in federal support is provided for Florida and residents affected by Hurricane Ian. FEMA reports $545 million went to households and $302 million went to the state. Also, the U.S. Small Businesses Administration provided $130 million in disaster loans to employees. The National Flood Insurance Program also paid out $98 million to at least 40,000 people who filed flood insurance claims. Home sales declined for the 8th month in a row in September. It's the longest housing sales slump since the mortgage collapse 15 years ago. However, there's not much inventory. A slowing house market means a lot of houses are available, which could push for lower prices. But there are far fewer listings because homeowners want to hold on to lower mortgage rates. So the houses which are for sale are going for more. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, the First Presbyterian Church in downtown Cuero opens for their annual pumpkin patch.
News Center 25 at 6 and 10 is also heard on KVNN 1340 AM, Victoria's News Network.
Andy, Diego, and I have been faithfully taking care of your foundation needs in South Texas for many years. That's why USA Foundation Repair is your recommended home pro contractor. We go the extra mile. Our friendly staff will help you set appointments that fit your schedule. They'll handle your warranties and permits and get you the best customer service. Call your recommended home pro contractor, USA Foundation Repair, your slab and pier and beam specialist.
I want to talk to you about the night your daughter went missing.
Her death is part of a pattern of murdered Indigenous women.
This job isn't easy. We do it because it matters. The police don't want to solve these crimes.
We need to prove it. Boots on the ground. It's time.
Don't blame me if things go sideways.
You sideways? Never.
Three high school football buddies and how they all ended up killers in 3 separate high-profile murder cases. Next, Inside Edition, what are the odds? 3 best pals, 3 different slayings spread out over 9 years.
All 3 of these people, known murderers.
Then, mystery of the Navy SEAL operation. Inside Edition investigates. Next, Inside Edition.
From America's #1 news source comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and it can customize to you and your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience what all the buzz is about. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
It's high school football season. If you're headed to the game, we want to see your best photos. You can win big by submitting your photos to Crossroads today. Your photo can be the next one to be showcased on Crossroads Football Live. Each winner gets a $25 Dickey's Barbecue gift certificate and a 2022 CFL t-shirt. Go to crossroadstoday.com/CFL Hall of Fame Sweepstakes and submit your photos. So pull out your cameras or phones and show us your team spirit.
And finally, here's a look at the pumpkin patch at the First Presbyterian Church in downtown Cuero. Each year, the church puts out pumpkins for school children from area districts to come and enjoy on field trips. They also keep the patch open to the public with prices that make it easy for anyone to get in for the fall season spirit. Proceeds from the pumpkin patch go to a local food pantry in Cuero. The patch will be up until the end of October. Alrighty, Howie, is this weather going to be perfect for the pumpkin patch? Because I might plan to go there.
Is it through this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, no, weather's looking fantastic. We could get some showers after the weekend, but we're staying on the warmer side for the most part. Maybe a few interruptions, but really all week is almost pumpkin patch caliber weather. 74 for the water, got a little cooler. Bays on the choppy side, so 60s tonight. Overnight dropping down to just 55. Tomorrow, if you're headed to that pumpkin patch, look at that, 84. Lots of sunshine. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, here is what we have. So Friday, 84. Saturday, lots of sun. Might be kind of hot out there for the pumpkin patch. You might have to wait a little bit because then Sunday, some disturbances start coming our way. We'll start to cloud up. We could see some showers after the weekend. And then Tuesday, maybe some rain chances as well, but that cold front comes in. I know it knocks us down, but 77 and 84 with sun, that's pumpkin patch weather as well, Karina.
Howie, thank you. And thank you for being with us. Remember, we're always on Crossroads Today Plus. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.